Can you imagine a dream so big that it seems impossible? And a promise that seems too good to be true? We all have hopes and desires that live deep within our hearts. Sometimes these wishes seem as distant as the stars beyond our reach. But what if, like stars hidden by the light of day, our dreams are closer than we think? The story of Sarah, a woman who walked with God, reminds us that even the most impossible dreams can blossom and come true. Her journey, filled with doubts and unwavering faith, offers a timeless message of hope and encouragement for all of us. Do you want to understand the Bible in a clear and profound way? Here on this channel, every video is an opportunity to grow in faith, learn valuable lessons, and discover the secrets of the Scriptures. So don't waste any time. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell to receive powerful insights that will transform your life. Let's dive into God's Word together. Sarah and her husband Abraham lived in a land called Canaan. They were nomads moving from one place to another, always searching for pastures and water for their flocks. Life was hard, but they had faith. It was a good land, a land promised to them by God. Canaan was known for its fertility, a place where milk and honey flowed, a symbol of abundance and prosperity. However, a shadow of sadness hung over their home. Despite all the material blessings, there was an absence that weighed heavily on their hearts. Sarah was barren, unable to have children. In a society where motherhood was highly valued, this was a constant source of pain and shame for her. In those times, having children was a sign of God's blessing, a vital part of continuing a family's legacy. Children were seen as an inheritance, a guarantee that the family name would endure. Each passing year was like a hammer blow to Sarah's heart. Time seemed relentless, and the hope of one day holding her own child diminished. She longed to cradle a child, sing lullabies, and tell stories. In her dreams, she could feel the weight of a baby in her arms, hear a child's laughter. She yearned to experience the unique love between a mother and child, a love as natural as the sunrise. This desire was a constant flame in her heart. However, her womb remained empty, a painful reminder of her unfulfilled desire. Every day was a struggle against hopelessness, but she continued to believe, waiting for a miracle. One day God spoke to Abraham. He made a covenant, a solemn promise. He told Abraham that he would be the father of many nations, his descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky. God also promised that Sarah would give birth to a son through whom this promise would be fulfilled. Imagine Sarah's reaction. At first, she probably felt a spark of hope, a spark igniting in the ashes of her despair. But considering her age, her doubts took root. How could she, a woman past childbearing age, conceive? Could this promise really be for her? If you love learning about the Bible, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and ring the bell to receive enriching content every week. The test of time. Years passed, turning into a decade, and the wait seemed endless. Every day that passed, Sarah felt the weight of time on her shoulders. And yet Sarah remained childless. Loneliness and sadness became her constant companions. The weight of God's promise, once a beacon of hope, now seemed distant and unattainable. It began to feel like a heavy burden. Each day without an answer increased her anguish. Doubt gnawed at her faith, whispering insidious lies. Had she misunderstood the promise? Had God forgotten his promise? The nights were long and full of questions. Was she unworthy of such a blessing? Doubt and despair began to take over her heart. In her impatience, Sarah decided to take matters into her own hands. She believed she needed to act for the promise to be fulfilled. She convinced Abraham to have a child with her servant Hagar. The decision was made with a heavy heart, full of uncertainty. This decision, born of despair, brought unexpected and painful consequences. It led to hurt and conflict in their home. The harmony that once existed was replaced by tension and discord. It was a harsh reminder that our attempts to manipulate God's plans often lead us away from his perfect will. Sarah learned painfully that patience and faith are essential to waiting for God's timing. Laughter turned to joy. When all hope seemed lost, when the days were dark and the nights endless, when the fire of God's promise seemed to have dwindled to embers, a miracle happened. The flame of faith, almost extinguished, was rekindled. God visited Sarah and Abraham, reaffirming his covenant. He brought a message of hope and renewal. He told them that within a year, something extraordinary would happen. Sarah would give birth to a son. Overwhelmed by the impossible, Sarah laughed in disbelief. How could a woman her age conceive? But God's laughter is the sound of miracles unfolding. Faithful to his word, he turned doubt into certainty. Sarah conceived and gave birth to a son, Isaac. The impossible became possible. Her laughter of disbelief turned into a chorus of joy. The once silent house now echoed with laughter and happiness. The child she thought she could never have, the dream that seemed unattainable, the promise that seemed impossible, became her reality. The joy of Sarah and Abraham was complete, and their laughter was now pure happiness. A legacy of faith. Sarah's story is not just about the birth of a child, it's about the birth of faith. It is a testament to God's unwavering faithfulness, who fulfills his promises even when we doubt. Sarah's journey reminds us that God's timing is perfect, even when it doesn't align with our own desires or understanding. Her unwavering belief, tested by time and circumstance, became a legacy passed down through generations. Her story has become a beacon of hope, reminding us that with God, nothing is impossible. Your own wilderness. Perhaps you find yourself in a season of waiting, a wilderness of your own. Maybe you are clinging to a promise that seems impossible, your faith tested by doubt and discouragement. Remember Sarah. Remember her tears, her laughter, her unwavering belief. God has not forgotten you. He sees your heart, hears your prayers, and holds your dreams in his hands. Hold on to his promises even when you don't understand, for in God's perfect time your desert will bloom, and your impossible dream will become your testimony of praise.